How's it going? In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to record saxophone from home. We'll talk about the basics of miking a sax, good microphones, then dive some more into specifics. First off, let's talk a bit about microphones. There are three basic types of microphones: dynamic, condenser, and ribbon. With the saxophone, dynamic mics are most commonly used for live performances, while condenser and ribbon mics are mostly used in the studio. If you're just starting out though, you can get good results with any kind of mic. If you don't own a mic yet, I would recommend looking for a condenser mic, specifically what's called a large diaphragm condenser mic. In the budget-friendly range, I'd suggest looking for something from companies like Audio-Technica, MXL, or AKG. Definitely a lot more to get into there, but that should point you in the right direction. If you're interested in a more detailed video about budget microphones for sax, please let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to explore it further. As of right now, I personally don't have much experience with what's currently on the market, so I can't make any specific recommendations. Here are a handful of my favorite mics for saxophone. For dynamic mics, try the SM57 or the RE20. For condenser mics, try an AKG C414, a Neumann U67 or 87, or if you have any of these ribbon mics, try the Royer 121, Coles 4038, or something in the RCA family such as the RCA 44, the RCA 77DX, or any AEA equivalent. If you either have one of these mics or something like them, you're well on your way to a great sax recording from home. Okay, now that we've discussed microphones, how do we capture the signal? We use what's called an audio interface. It has two things we need for recording: a microphone preamp and an analog to digital converter. The microphone preamp, or mic pre, is used to boost the signal of the mic so that it can easily be used and heard at a reasonable level. Analog to digital converters, or A to D converters, will translate an analog signal into zeros and ones so that the data can be interpreted by a computer. If you don't have an audio interface, there are many on the market now that are quite good for their price. We can go into more depth in another video. Once your audio interface is connected to your computer, typically with a USB cable, you can record your sax into what's called a digital audio workstation. You may hear this called a DAW or DAW. You probably already heard of these programs. Here are some popular DAWs: Logic, Pro Tools, Cubase, Ableton, Fruity Loops, Digital Performer, and Reaper. All of these essentially do the same thing. They're like a digital tape machine with extra supercharged features. This is a huge generalization, but enough to help you wrap your head around it. Now, I'm not here to tell you which DAW to use or how to use it, so you may have to do some research. There are plenty of great resources out there to help with that though. I can only show you the DAW. You have to open it. Go ahead and set up your mic stand and attach your mic. Plug one end of an XLR cable into the mic and the other into your audio interface. I'm using an Audient ID44 for this video. If you have a dynamic or ribbon microphone, leave phantom power off. It is especially important that it is off with a ribbon mic, as the voltage can cause severe damage. If you have a condenser mic, go ahead and turn phantom power on. The mic I'm using in this video is a Peluso P87, which is a modern clone of the Neumann U87 I recommended in the previous section. It is a large diaphragm condenser mic, so it needs phantom power. Also, your mic may have a switch that looks like this. Those symbols are for what are called polar patterns. You don't have to know what they do immediately. I just recommend setting your mic to match the middle symbol on my mic. Yours just may be in a different position. Try playing your sax into the mic now to set some basic levels. Adjust the gain knob on your interface so that you can see the meter moving in your DAW. Keep turning up the gain until the meters are approaching the top. Ideally, the loudest note you play will get close but never hit the top of the meters. If it does reach the top, that's called clipping, and we're trying to avoid that. Let's move on to mic placement. Just keep in mind that you may have to do some slight adjustments to your gain once you find the perfect mic position. Where you put your microphone has a big impact on the sound you're recording, much more so than the audio interface or preamp. But of course, great gear never hurts. Here are a few easy steps to find the right spot for your microphone. First, take into account the kind of microphone you have. Is it top address, where you address it from the top, or is it side address? Most large diaphragm condenser mics are side address. You may need to look this information up if it's not immediately clear. Often you can look through the microphone's grill to see which direction the capsule is facing. Another giveaway might be the company's logo on the front. That's likely the side you'll play into. Now that we've gotten all the technical stuff out of the way, stand in your playing position with your sax. You'll want to place the mic about 1.5 feet in front of you. If you're playing alto, the mic should be about 6 inches away from the bell, pointing mostly towards the left-hand keys. If you're playing tenor, that number changes to about 8 inches away, again, mostly pointing towards the left-hand keys. With bari, like the tenor, about 8 inches away from the bell, but pointing a bit higher than the left-hand keys. Basically, you don't want the mic pointing directly down the bell because not all of the sound comes from there. We want to capture as much of the range of the saxophone as we can with just one mic. It's actually quite a feat if you think about it. Now, the soprano sax, unlike the other three, requires a bit of a different approach. Since it's normally straight and the bell is pointing downward, our normal mic position is not going to work. Try keeping the mic about 1.5 feet away from you and above the bell at about 6 inches, pointing mostly upward. If you have a curved soprano, mic it like an alto sax, but the mic may need to be a bit closer. At this point, you should be getting a pretty accurate recording of your saxophone's sound, but we can take it a step further. Try slightly different positions while playing into the mic. You may find if you move a little closer or farther away, you get a better sound. Generally, the closer you move to the mic, the more low end. This is called the proximity effect. Also, if you don't like the way your room sounds, it's a good idea to play a bit closer to the mic so that less room is captured. On the other hand, if you do like the room sound, consider stepping back from the mic. Make sure though that you can still hear your saxophone clearly. It's important that your saxophone sounds balanced and even across the whole range of the instrument, so listen for that while you're experimenting. There is obviously so much more we could explore here, but I wanted to keep this video relatively short for your and my sanity. I hope I've given you some strong saxophone recording fundamentals so you can get started from home right away. Please let me know in the comments how these guidelines worked for you. If you have anything to add, I'd love to hear all about it, as well as any suggestions you have about videos you'd like me to make. If you got any value out of this video, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more where this came from, and I'm glad to have you along for the ride. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.